Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm reviewing Christopher Nolan's third feature film, Insomnia. A police detective played by Al Pacino is sent to a small town in Alaska to investigate the murder of a teenage girl and hunt down who killed her. This is a movie that I consider very underrated, especially with the performances, but the movie itself. I was looking at a bunch of lists about Christopher Nolan's filmography, and this one was always put as the worst, or I shouldn't even say worst, as the good but not the best, because Christopher Nolan has no bad movie, and I don't really understand why, because I felt like this one was extremely strong and really good for what it was trying to do. It's not just a murder mystery story. Pretty much at the beginning of the film, you already get to understand who the primary suspect is. The character is played by Robin Williams, which he does a phenomenal job in this movie. His character just adds so much thrill to the movie, and he doesn't even come out until, I believe, mid-movie, but his presence just makes the movie that much better and that much more exciting and at the same time scary. This movie is definitely very anxiety driven. One of the first positives I want to talk about is the use of daylight in this movie. Like I said, the detective goes to Alaska to investigate this murder, and I just really liked that they chose Alaska and that they chose it to be in the daylight, because that just adds more stress. There's so many scenes where he's trying to cover up the windows to try to get some sleep, because as the title says, he can't really sleep because he has so much stress going on in his life, because as he's trying to figure out this murder, he has committed a crime in his life and he's trying to hide it. So it's this kind of anti-hero type situation, which I always find very interesting when your lead character is supposed to be the hero but they themselves relate to the villain of the story, which is always really interesting and adds a whole new dynamic. And I just really liked that this was in the daylight. It added a lot more stress, and you don't really see a lot of crime thrillers take place that much in the day. It's always at night, but the idea that there is no nighttime is really, really interesting, and it also confuses the viewer, because there's a scene at the beginning, middle, I can't really remember, but he basically talks to Hilary Swank's character, and she's basically telling him, oh, it's 10 p.m, it doesn't get dark here, and you as the viewer is like, what the heck, it looks like it's literally 3 p.m. in the day. That's always really fun, and it also added for a lot of really cool shots of Alaska, and Alaska is really pretty. But other than just the beautiful shots, it was really important for the character to experience the daylight and be stressed in that way and have that confusion, because that confusion definitely adds a lot to the story. Like I was saying, our main character Dormer, he's an anti-hero in my eyes. He's very flawed, and he has, if you watch the movie, which I won't get into spoilers in this review, he does things that are clearly not right, and he starts questioning his own mind and if what he did was on purpose, not on purpose. And then the movie does this really cool thing where he relates to his primary suspect, and that would be Robin Williams, and their dynamic in the entire movie was my favorite part, and it carried the entire film. It was really awesome to see them act together. They're both obviously great actors, and Al Pacino delivers a really great role. He's a great actor and he's really natural at what he does, and like I said, I love Robin Williams and he added a lot to the movie, but them together just like exploded on the screen, and it was really interesting. I really liked the interrogation scenes, and it reminded me kind of the Joker interrogation scene, and from the beginning you get to understand that this character is a really good cop. He knows what he's doing and he's a great detective. That's the reason why they flew him from LA to Alaska in the first place, but to have him have flaws was really interesting, and it's really interesting how much he contrasts with Robin Williams' character, because they both have something at stake here. Similar to Memento, Nolan does something really cool here where he puts you in the shoes of our lead character, and a lot of that adds to just feeling tired when you're watching the movie. Not because it's boring or slow or anything, but just there were a lot of shots where it was very fast paced. Like there's a specific one in the fog, and there were a lot of cuts of his feet, of his hands, of the trees, and you had no idea what you were looking at. And obviously there was fog, but other than that it was very shaky, and there were a lot of POV shots, and you got to understand what he was going through. And then similarly towards the end, there's one in the car where he is only focused on the windshield wipers and nothing else, and that just like as a viewer gave me so much anxiety because I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at, and that's exactly how he felt. And whenever a director does that, it really makes the movie that much more interesting. And it also, by putting you in the shoes of the protagonist, you really get to just understand how they're feeling and form that kind of connection through the screen. And it made me feel scared for him, and that lack of sleep he was having plus all the stress he was going through really showed on the screen. And as a viewer, at the end of the movie, I was like, I got you. I get exactly what you're feeling, because it was just, the camera work was really well done, and also the editing was also just phenomenal. There were so many fast cuts, and usually that would bother me in a movie, but it was played off really well here, and it definitely fit the style of the movie. I really like how this town was used, and usually in like murder mystery type movies, they just name a place and they don't really use it to their advantage. They already used it to their advantage with the daylight, having it be in Alaska, but also I liked the way characters describe the town. A specific character towards the end tells Al Pacino's character that there are two types of people that live in Alaska: the ones that were born here and the ones that chose to escape from something. And that is super ironic when you watch the film and see all of the characters in the movie. And that specific line itself basically like described the whole movie in a way and added so much more to the already really well done film. And I really liked that type of conversation. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but that conversation towards the end was really, really well done. And especially the lighting. The lighting in this film was so beautiful and used so effectively. I'm a sucker for lighting. I love when a movie has really good lighting, and this one is definitely one of them. I also really liked the action sequences in this movie. There's one in the fog towards the end. There's chase scenes, and they're not constant. This isn't a constant like chase action movie, but when they're there, they're really well done and well directed, and you get to feel the tension, which is really important in thriller movies. And something else that I forgot to mention when I was talking about the editing was certain inserts. At the beginning, there's an insert of certain scenes, and as a viewer, you expect it to be one way and it ends up being another. And I just really like when movies do that. They surprise you. It doesn't go towards the obvious, and this one does not go towards the obvious. It's really, really awesome. Although this movie isn't a huge blockbuster like his later films, The Dark Knight, Inception, Dunkirk, I feel like this one is really, really strong just because it's simple, but he makes it something more. It doesn't have as really a shocking twist as movies like The Prestige, but it's more of a really concentrated thriller, and I really like that. It's kind of more laid back, but I don't think it hurts the film. It wasn't trying to be something it's not, but at the same time, it isn't just a regular crime thriller. It's more of a look into somebody's mind, given that it is a psychological thriller, and it was really, really awesome to just be in the mind of somebody that's going through so much, and it puts you in their shoes, and you would think, what would you do in that situation? I haven't spoken at all about Hilary Swank's character, and she's a great actress. She's got like 2 Academy Awards, so she's awesome. But her character was my only flaw with the movie. I really liked what they did with her. She was very essential to the plot. Without her, the end would not have happened, and it wouldn't have been as good as it was, because I do really like the ending scene of this movie. But I felt like sometimes her character was just to the side, and she was important in being like the suspicious one, but I felt like they could have given her a little bit more to do the entire movie, to not just cram it towards the end. And speaking of the end, those last 15 minutes were so like crazy and really good. I really, really enjoyed them, and it really paid off. Having watched the entire movie and seen the end, it's really satisfying when you watch a movie and the ending is so good, because there's so many times where you're watching a film and then you get to the ending and it's like, oh, that's how it ends. So I really, really liked that. Once again, Christopher Nolan has proved that he knows what he's doing, and he's just such an awesome dude. So I'm gonna give this movie an A. I saw this movie on HBO Max, so if you guys have that, you can definitely watch it there. I really recommend it. It was really fun to watch and eat popcorn with. I eat popcorn with every movie, but this one specifically was just really fun. And I'm a huge fan of crime movies, and this one was a really good one. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching my review, and I'm hoping that you guys are liking my Christopher Nolan series. So make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!